I don't really know how to start this. I'm, if you couldn't tell, I'm fresh off the DLC stuff. So I played on stream. I play games. I don't just make shitty videos where I ramble and half the time not even make sense. I I actually play games. Anyway, now that we're over that, I'm deeply saddened by the game that I was playing. Sorry, my nose was itchy. Um, as someone who plays games, I love to play games that I really am in the mood for. I'm not going to play something because, oh yeah, it's great for the algorithm and this'll really like blow me up in like numbers and blah blah blah, and this does well and I think people like it. My my thing with streaming, with playing games like that, is I think it's really obvious when you don't enjoy something. And and this is like the one case where I was really trying so hard to like it. And there's some games that have like weak starts or like kind of just like they fall flat a little bit. Like let's say like Soul Hackers, which is funny, or Soul Hackers 2 specifically for me, where it's like, okay, the story was actually kind of weak in my opinion, but hey, I toughed it out and I think I still have sentiment towards it. This is probably the worst. The worst. Let's be dramatic. This is the worst thing I've ever played. Just cause a couple of things. A couple of things. Big three umbrellas. I do have some notes this time because I was trying to formulate my thoughts. I've been sporadically saying it on stream. It's been 2 minutes. Let me get into it. Okay. The first one, and I think everybody's been saying this, I was trying to scour the reviews to really get like engaged as to what people have caught on to in terms of what they loved and what they disliked. Like, what's it called? If you go on the Steam page, the DLC for me is 45 like Canadian or something. Maybe like 30 bald eagles or some shit, or like 35 or whatever the fuck. I don't know if I was supposed to get it with the expansion pass or whatever, or like, because I played it through the Xbox thing. And that was like, okay, I need to resubscribe to the Xbox Game Pass, but then do I need the deal? I don't know. It just it wasn't even working, so I had to figure it out on the fly on stream. But why the fuck was this paid? I know the answer. Corporate greed. Yeah, sneakily like making everyone pay 135 Canadian or something like that. Actually no. No, cuz I feel like the $45 amount, like $50 amount. So that's like with tax, just the DLC alone. The base game, the base game's like what? Like 91 Canadian? Again, that goes to like 70 American or something like that. So 91, and then with taxes, that takes it over 100. $150. I I love Persona, and I think Persona 5 really like is like really value for money. Like it really, like in terms of like how much you'll get out of it, and if you really enjoy the game, why the heck would you not continue to play it for 80 to 100 hours at least to get it all done? I love Royal anyway. um I'll get into that in a bit. um but this is, given how much I didn't like the other two aspects of this, and I think a lot of it was just kind of like, I'll get into why like the money aspect was even worse than it actually was, but this is like half the price of the original game. Like this is this is like daylight robbery. Even like there is the whole Kitakami update and the whole Blueberry Academy. Blueberry Academy? Is that a show? Blueberry Academy, like with Pokemon, and that was neat. Did feel kind of gross spending like $30-$40 on that, since you could only take that so far, but at least it gave you like a whole new cast of characters like I feel like I got more out of that, to be honest. And Pokemon's been berated for having these DLCs and stuff like that, but I think they did it better than Reload in terms of the content that we got. But okay, going into like the second point, I guess. Aside from the price just on paper being bad, why would you reset by levels? Oh my god. And just kind of like resetting almost everything. Like, okay, some of it made sense. I think, why would Aigis just have some of the things that Makoto had? Like, I guess Aigis wouldn't. I guess. Anyway, they wouldn't inherit like the money he has, for example, and there was a story process as to how she got like her persona through Makoto and stuff like that, or Makoto's persona essentially. It actually explains why. Never mind. I was like, oh, that explains something with Métis. No, not really. Anyway, um, so some things didn't carry over, but ugh, levels. The excuse for bringing me down all the way back to level 25 is fucking a joke. I, and this is why I bring up the royal part. We've already seen an implementation of this. Like, granted, it's a newer game in theory, because if Persona 3 Reload is just trying to rip from the original Persona 3 or Portable or whatever, or Fez, I should probably say, like, it's probably ripping from Fez, then it's 2 1-1. Don't make us like reset everything. Everybody was like level 70 or 80, and if you were like, above and beyond, you're probably level 90 or 100, especially if you fight a Grim Reaper. Oh my god, you're set. You're zooming through, all the shadows are scared of you, whatever. If I didn't have to fight like a Grim Reaper, or yeah, like I got stuck in like a Grim Reaper fight for like an hour. I'm so grateful for it because it got rid of a lot of the bullshit of having to go through at least about 14 or 20, mostly 21 floors, basement floors of exploration. The same thing over and over. I love the battle system in Persona like 3, 4, like Persona 3 and 5. 4 just looks ugly. Anyway, um I love how that goes. It's a very neat and refreshing take on the turn-based formula. Why couldn't we just have like the bosses don't have levels? I don't know if they're programmed to have levels. It's like, okay, when we fought society as a whole, like they were they were over level 200, 300. Like they're always like that. They're always stupidly high leveled and strong. You could We could just like start from where we started, not drag it out as much as you have, and just get us to like keep the levels. Keeping the levels would be nice, because some of my criticism with like the gameplay and stuff like that is that if this is how it was, because I unfortunately have not played Fez or Portable or anything of like that. If that's what it was like and they've one-to-one it in terms of, yeah, you're gonna have to keep going through these doors and blah blah blah. Oh my god, I'd be so irritated. I'd just be like so like we have that in Persona 5. At least Persona 5 base. I mean, it's in Royal too, but like you eventually have to like take down mementos at its source, right? Like after the whole Shido thing. And I mean, I probably should have spoiler warned it, but whatever. Get spoiled. Um but like, I mean, okay. Maybe you would have caught on when I said 5 Royal, but yeah. Um anyway, I I just love how Persona 5 Royal handled it more. Like in terms of, and it probably was like that. It probably was, um because like the DLC was never a DLC. it was part of like the main story or main stories sort of thing. It's beautiful the way Persona 3 Reload ended initially with Makoto, you know, like, dying off into the arms of Aigis and stuff like that. But like I'm just so annoyed that this is, why would you reset my levels? Why would you give me a bunch of random bullshit that I I did not pay for. Like, I did not spend $45 with the expectations of just having to bash through Tartarus. Honestly, I would have rather paid for like more story. Some people complained about that and how they only just basically had story for that much. You pay for movies. You pay for like media that tells, or like tell stories and stuff like that. I think it's somewhat like understandable, I guess. But yeah. Um my stats shouldn't my stats shouldn't regress. Very frustrating. And actually, going back on the point of me being irritated, I felt like the cast was kind of off. It's really interesting because this starts to delve into how I expect characters to react to what just happened. We had this major big fight against Nyx, and then the fucking moon, you know, and like, that was epic. That was very sugoi, and then Makoto unfortunately is the one that sacrifices himself to make sure that the fall never happens. He found his answer. Everybody is very obviously um deeply upset by it. He was their leader. He was the one that like was the bright light to everyone. But something about the way the characters, okay, I kind of loved how the characters first took it, where they're like, what the fuck do you mean we have to keep going? Like, when Métis shows up, there's hostility amongst everyone. I actually really like that because I think that was so real. I'm busy grieving. I'm busy trying to put the pieces back in my life together after all these hardships, after all this fighting. And now you're telling me I have to go back in the fucking building again, and the back in the fucking like the basement floors now, basically Tartarus. It's just the Sahara like Tartarus. I don't know, something of doors, blah blah blah. That was so. This goes into probably like plot criticism, really. So annoying, and like the structure of it, and everybody was visibly irritated. Yukari just wanted to, move the fuck on. She was obviously very devastated with what happened. Um, Probably, I'm assuming with the lovers, they're almost like the empath of the group sort of thing. I don't know if that really like trends with the characters too much, with with An, or with Rise, or yeah, Rise. You should be calling her Reset. Um, yeah, but okay. I adore Yukari. I adore Mitsuru a lot, a lot. I think Mitsuru is a hot baddie that I almost look up to. And like almost like, wow, like you've had it rough from like very young. I mean, and we see that in the DLC. Um and Yukari, honestly, very same thing. Just probably not in the more like girl bossy sort of thing of like, hey, I'm like a top dog, but like she goes about it in her own way, and we see it. We see the frustrations of it. We see her absolutely lose it, and I think it's realistic to believe that people will lose it again, especially right after another important loss. However, part of me just goes, and this kind of goes against like what I'll say. It's a game, and I think the it's a game that really focuses on getting over loss. And I think Akihiko put it really well in terms of it it essentially, like, with the whole Shinji thing, with, I want to say, his parent, mom, something like that. I feel like something else happened to Akihiko, but essentially, life is just gonna, like, throw those punches in. He didn't say this, but I'm essentially paraphrasing it in my own way. But he wouldn't change the circumstances that he's in for the world. Like, the stuff that you've been through, the stuff that, like, that you've gained, despite all of the hardship that you go through, you just gotta, like, face life head on and keep going. And I got the impression that a lot of this cast had that. So I actually thought it was quite pathetic. Honestly, more on Mitsuru even, that she folded so easily. And even Yukari, I say even Yukari, Yukari, is this why people don't like her as much? It, like, uh, the DLC felt like, okay, the hostility, them being pissed off at the fact that they have to do this, so real for that. I and then you're presented with a chance to go back into the past and change things. And suddenly, I don't know, maybe this is a hot take, but I really don't get, like, the intense want for that, especially if, like, all these promises and things to, like, keep pushing forward and moving forward, they're really difficult. Makoto wouldn't have wanted you to go back and go fight Nyx again, which I think literally Junpei, like, said. He's like, we're gonna have to do that all fucking again. Like, and I don't know. If you change the past, there's no guarantee that you're going to get a better solution future out of it. You are rolling the dice again, and the grass is not always greener. And that just did not feel understood enough. That was just so, it was heartbreaking. It genuinely, like, it was heartbreaking. It made me cringe on how easily Yukari and Mitsuru folded. I genuinely saw it as pathetic, and the only, like, person, or, like, the only character that really it made sense to break internally was Aigis. Like I think the Aigis, like, her searching for an answer, I do think in the first place it made sense. She was torn because, okay, beep boop bop, I'm a robot that is very logical, but has, like, at least the capability of learning about emotion. Eventually, she gets so caught up in these emotions that are either programmed in her or as if she's alive, that she's starting to question, well, I was originally built to defeat shadows and protect, or not even necessarily protect, because there were cynical reasons as to why Aigis was built, I'm pretty sure. And then also the attachment to Makoto, which helped her kind of find even more meaning, like in life and stuff like that. Part of me just, like it feels like I need to, like, rip up the script and then rewrite it and condense it and go, hey, add this into, like, some kind of epilogue. Add it into, like, a free epilogue. Thank you, what's it called? Atlus. Or, like, $5 to $10, like, this is wishful thinking. $5 to $10 at most. Epilogue. Everyone's still grieving. But make it so much more story heavy. Make, I don't know, like, would you deter from, like, the original and just go, hey, there's a Tartarus is back. You're gonna skip to the 225th floor. There's still something up ahead. I don't know. I don't know. It ruined my perception of Persona 3, and I almost don't even want to treat the DLC is canon. Like it really, it was so frustrating. All these aspects that I went to. Wow, it's been 20 minutes. What a banger video. Um, it's it was a pain. It was a pain all throughout. I was fucking fuming at the end, or not at the very end, but when you basically had to square up against all the teams, like the Junpei and Koromaru, the Yukari and Mitsuru, and then you also had the most sensible one, Akihiko and Ken. Ken literally figured the whole fucking situation out. Like, and put it so well. This guy's like 12. He's like 13. And like, at most. Absolutely embarrassing. I get that they're grieving. I really do. And I think relapses do happen of people's like will to move on. But I was convinced that they were already strong enough. That this hardship, like what Makoto would have wanted, and I think they would have had solace in this, or whatever the word I'm looking for, closure in the fact that I'm gonna keep doing well because Makoto fought in battle for, like, what's it called? For us to thrive, for us to do and live our lives as we please. It really, it was a sad and emotional ending, and I just couldn't be sad and emotional with it out of frustration. It's it's deeply upsetting for completely different reasons as to how I I thought I was gonna be sad and upset about this. This is, don't buy this. I mean, if you're watching this, you might have already played it and watched it, well, or whatever, like engaged in the media of it. I highly recommend skipping the fuck out of this. Go watch a playthrough of it, skim through the doors, and that's it.